Ilan enters Alain, the city of sages, and tries to find a sage who can help her. The sage says the spell connects the caster with the one they love through their dreams. Ilan asks if there's a way to undo it, but the mage says that there's no known way to break it. And one work around it is to travel far away from its caster, and if she distanced herself from the caster, the ability to connect in dreams would weaken. Ilan thanks him for help and leaves. Ilan thinks to run farther away, but her stomach is beginning to show, and eventually it will get hard for her to move. Kyle is angry at his Shadow Knights and orders to send a notice to find Ilan, and close the borders, and says she must not be harmed no matter what. Kyle thinks Ilan wasn't close to the Knights with her, so if he takes them hostage, she wouldn't bat an eye. Ilan is now wanted for the crime of treason against the Imperial family. Leonhard is shown a wanted poster of Ilan, which confuses him, but he remembers Ilan being worried and not telling him who the father is. And he realizes that the Emperor may be the father of Ilan's child, as the Imperial position was assigned to her, and wonders why she ran away and thinks if she really loved him, there'd be no reason for her to flee, and it doesn't make sense, and wonders if she had any say in it and if she's scared. Leonhard had lost his parents in an accident due to the Emperor's doing, and he had vowed revenge. But now he's losing another loved one to him and gets angry and decides to return to the capital and stay with the Emperor to get more information. He gets a message that the Emperor is requesting his return to the capital, and he wonders what the Emperor is scheming, and he thinks it's his chance now. A few months later, Ilan gets told to take a break. Ilan now goes by the name of Ron and gets told to take care of her health. At first, everyone had kept their distance from her, but once they heard that the father of the child rejected her, they warmed up to her, but she's still having a hard time getting used to their kindness. A woman asks her about prenatal care, but she doesn't know about it. She explains that everything she does affects the baby inside her, so she needs to ensure that she has a positive effect on it. So she should look at beautiful things and say lovely words. The woman jokes that the way Ren speaks reminds her of how soldiers speak, and says she should tell her baby how much she loves them. She thinks about it and begins talking nicely to her unborn baby, saying she loves them and wants to live a happy life with them and thinks to make sure they'll have a wonderful life. Time passed by and she went through a lot of hardships while carrying the baby, but thanks to the help of the villagers, she was able to get through it, and eventually she successfully gave birth to twins, a girl and a boy. She has decided to name her daughter Leanne and son Enril, and gets happy that she can use both names and tells her kids that they will have a wonderful life together. Ilan tries to put Enril to sleep and she realizes her eyes are sparkling gold just like the Emperor's. She was worried she wouldn't be able to love her babies if they resembled the Emperor, but she has no problem now. Enril is quiet and mild-mannered, while Leanne is full of energy, and the twins are too different from each other. She thinks they won't end up like the Emperor as they are her children. Ilan thinks that raising two babies is hard, and they are getting heavier, and have such big appetites that she has to feed them goat's milk. But she's glad to see that they are growing well. She's a nightmare about the Emperor finding her and wakes up to see her babies. Ilan walks over to her sleeping babies and says that she will protect them. Two Shadow Knights enter the room, but they just missed Ilan, and they say she's really good at hiding her traces. One of them finds a doll indicating that Ilan has a child with her and then moves out, as they don't want to disappoint the Emperor once more. Ilan makes food for the kids, who are now 5 years old. They have been constantly moving from one place to the other. As the kids got older, it became easier to move around. But they can't live like this forever, but she hopes Kyle has given up on trying to find her. Someone knocks on the door and Ilan tells the kids to keep eating, and she goes to check who it is. She recognizes the voice and replies that no one is home. Leanne springs up and asks if it's Mr. Alver, and Ilan says no. Leanne recognizes him from the voice and goes to open the door. Alver thanks Leanne for opening the door and gives her some meat as a present. Alver was part of a group of strangers who came to the town who thought they were runaway aristocrats, so people kept their distance at first. But due to Alver's personality, they warmed up to him in no time, but she still hasn't. Ilan tells Leanne to finish her food. Later, Ilan prepares to go out, but Alver wants to help her pick the basket up. Ilan says that if he knows where he's going, and says that she's going to dig up some herbs. Ilan says she doesn't have to come with, but he says he wants to. Leanne also wants to go, so she says that they will all go. While leaving, a woman asks where they're going, and Ilan responds that they're going to the mountains, at which she warns them of the wild boars. A group of men gossip about the state of the country and foreigners poking around looking for someone. Hearing that, she gets worried that the Shadow Knights are still looking for her, but decides to not fall into panic from a few rumors. She sees Alver spacing out and thinks he hates the Empire and jabs at him. They are picking up herbs when suddenly a wild boar appears. The boar is injured as it's running away from a hunter. Elan realizes the danger and tells Elaine and Enril to be quiet. The boar approaches Elan, who thinks she can take it down even without a weapon, but that risks Alvera finding out she used to be a knight. So she decides to act like an ordinary human and run away and acts weak. Alvera says he will handle it, but Elan thinks he's being an idiot. Alvera takes his sword out and goes to attack the boar, but the boar ignores him and heads towards Elan. But she isn't scared and thinks that even though it's been a while since she has used a weapon, the boar should be no problem for her and prepares to fight it with her knife. The boar heads towards her and she brings it down with a single strike and then hands the bloody knife to Alvera and checks on her kids. The hunters arrive and ask Alvera if he's the one who killed the boar, but he points to Elan saying she's the one who killed it. But she says that Alvera took care of everything. Alvera gets the hint and says he's the one who killed the boar. Making the hunters amazed, he did it with only a dagger. And Enril says that his mom was the one who killed the boar, and she says no, at which Leanne says Elan told them to not lie. But she says this kind of lie is fine. Leanne asks if it's because the Demon King will come after them and people find out who they are, and she says yes, so that they will keep the secret. Once the kids got old enough, Elan told them that a bad man is chasing after them, so they think an evil Demon King is after them, and they think to wait until they get older to tell the whole story. Alvera tells Elan that the hunters left and butchered the boar and gave them a portion of it, at which Elan tells him to have it. Alvera tells her to keep it as a present. Elan thinks she won't have to worry about meat and leather now and wonders what to do with the fang. She'd asked the merchant to sell it, but he refused, and no one is going to the city, so she decides to go to the city the next day to gather information while trying to sell it, and tells the kids she will be back soon. After selling the herb, she decides to buy the things she needs, but decides to rest first. She begins dreaming, and as she falls asleep when she sits down, and Kyle enters her dream. Elan turns around and sees Kyle, who asks her if she dyed her hair brown. He says he's been looking everywhere for her. Elan realizes it isn't a nightmare, and the fact he appeared in her dream means he's close by. Kyle says Elan keeps trying to get away from him, but she says she only went where she wanted to and tells him it's useless for him to try and track her, and tells him to stop chasing after her. She's willing to spend the night of the festival with her, but he had no choice in what happened after it. Kyle asks if she was ever interested in him, at which she thinks she was drawn to him, but after she learned that he planned everything from the shadows, she became afraid of him. Elan lies that she was never interested in him, but Kyle tells her that she will return to the Empire with him and asks what happened to the child, and she lies saying she couldn't give birth to them. Kyle says it's fine as they can always make another one and tells her to follow her. Elan thinks something's wrong as Kyle's a lot calmer than usual, and thinks he may be doing something in the real world and wakes up from the dream by falling off her chair, and thinks if she goes home she may be followed, so she decides to shake off the people following her. Late at night, the kids discussing turn on the lights, but Elan had told them not to do so in the alone, but they still light a candle and decide to blow it out before sleeping. From the outside, loud noises appear, but they quickly stop. Alvera knocks on the door asking for Rand, but the kids say she's gone out and he leaves telling them to say they don't know anything in case someone comes around asking. Leanne opens the door and sees the yard's a mess and then closes the door, but a Shadow Knight keeps them from doing so. The knight asks the kids if they live there and asks about Albert, but they don't know anything. Leonhardt says that anyone who rebels is to be arrested and says to arrest them as the rebels came, so they must be involved. Leonhardt thinks the kids look like someone he knows and asks for their names. He wonders if these kids are the kids Elaine had with the Emperor and heads to the Emperor, and wonders how hard it was for her to raise them on her own. The knight tells the Emperor that they found the two kids who appear to be involved with the rebels and they arrested them as they may know something. Leanne thinks that the Emperor is the evil one from the stories. The Emperor asks Leanne her age and she answers that it's 5 years old. The Emperor asks how the Elaine search is going and the knight reports that she was living in the village but moved recently. The Emperor says for the kids to be given a bath. Enril asks to be let go and if he will eat them. The knight says the Emperor doesn't eat humans, at which he asks if they will be tortured, at which the knight says the Emperor doesn't torture without a reason. He then gets up and says that they look like their mother, and he knows her well and asks if they know who their father is, and they say they don't. The Emperor thinks Elaine still rejects him, and he says that they look like each other. Enril blurts out that they aren't the evil Emperor's kids, at which he says they are, saying they look like each other. The kids begin crying, and the knight says that he will take them away, but the Emperor stops him and says he will get something for them to eat. But they worry it is poison, but they eat it in the end and realize it's delicious. After eating, the kids fall asleep, and the Emperor tells everyone to leave. 2 days later, Elan sees that Enril and Leanne are gone, and sees Leonhardt and attacks him, asking where her children are. He tells her that the kids are with the Emperor and tells her to run away, but she refuses to leave until she finds her children. Leonhard says that there are Shadow Knights hiding around there, that they will detain her once they get a chance, and says he will give an opening to her to slash him and run away, and asks her to trust him. She slashes him and runs away, hoping to save her kids. The man who was helping Elvira draws her to him and praises her skills to avoid others. He had always avoided her, but now he's helping her. Elvira spots a checkpoint with the army's guerrilla unit and can't believe that they're following the Emperor's orders so much, and thinks that they aren't the only one being chased and suspects Alon. Vern brings Alon's to her and he greets her, but she acts cold to him. Alon gets angry that Elvira hasn't found the twins yet and says she needs to go find her kids, but Elvira tells her it'll be impossible for her to find them on her own and asks to be allowed to help her. But she says the Empire is searching for him, so them being together will make things complicated. Elvira tries to convince Alon, but she says that she's done thinking that Elvira isn't trying to help her with pure intentions, and they see the Empire as their enemy, is afraid of them finding out who her kids really are. Vern tries to convince Alon too, but Elvira stomps him, and as Alon leaves, he tells her that they will start moving at dawn 2 days later. Vern asks Elvira why he wants to help her so much, at which he says that they're the ones to blame and the kids got caught up because of them, so they need to stay true to their beliefs. Alon thinks that the Emperor stepped out of the Empire's borders with a small number of soldiers, which is a perfect time for Elvira to make a move, and thinks to get back in shape. Suddenly, she finds Leonhard behind her, who tells her to relax and puts his weapon down, and says he wants to know if he can help her in any way. Alon asks if he isn't trying to drag her back to the Emperor, as he is his loyal knight, but he says her security comes first and says that the Emperor had killed his parents, and he had to pledge his loyalty to survive. She asks him why he trusts her, and he says that he loves her, and his proposal still stands. Alon tells him to stop teasing her and asks if her kids are safe. Leonhard tells her that they are with the Emperor and are safe and unharmed, hearing that, which gets her relieved. Leonhard says they must have realized who the kids' parents are, so they are unharmed. Alon goes to find her children, and Leonhard asks if he can help, but she declines. Alon thinks her body is regaining its muscle memory and plans to save her children during the chaos 2 days later due to Elvira's plan. Later at night, Kyle wonders why the kids are sleeping on his bed and thinks he mistook them for Alon in their sleep. He sleeps and meets Alon in a dream, and she grabs him asking about her kids. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and press that bell icon to know about our latest videos.